Hi, my name's Tallulah Howarth and I'm a young poet and creative, and here's a short workshop on how to produce your own blackout or cutout poetry. Like me, you might have struggled to stay creative during the lockdown period, or you could have had more time to be creative but you weren't sure where to start. A blank page can be really overwhelming to start off with, so blackout poetry can not only be a great way to use existing writing to create something new, it can also be a good way to de-stress and get anger out by destroying something in order to make something more you. In order to follow along with me, you will need glue, some pieces of plain paper, a thick black pen, a pair of scissors, and something you're willing to destroy. So this could be old newspapers, magazines, junk mail, a book that you hate even. If you don't have any of those, that's okay, because you can print out some articles. Anything with a block of text works best. If you need to pause the video now to go and get those things, do that. Let's try a blackout poem first. So I'm using an old newspaper and a Sharpie, but biros work as well. You'll just have to do more crossing out. So you can have two approaches. You can start to scratch out words that you know you won't use in the poem, or you can circle words that you really like and you want to use in the poem. Okay, so mine was from an article about the Trump and Biden election, and I find that blackout poetry can produce you with really interesting imagery that you wouldn't have thought of before, because you're isolating these words, and it can produce a really interesting effect. So my final excerpt reads: his minutes watched from the audience. In blue surgical approach, someone shook Wednesday out of his home. Everything was music, tightly packed, solemn, embarked on his sleepy exit. So yeah, you can add punctuation to make it feel like more of a poem. And I want to flag up this book as well, which is the Blackout Poetry Journal by Catherine Maloney, which I got as a gift. And this has loads of texts in that have no copyright on them, and that can be a really great starting point as well. And one of my poems in here I'll read. And you can really make it quite a visual thing as well, with little doodles, but really it can be as scruffy or as neat as you want it to be. This one reads: the afternoon I had wanted was stirring coffee. I had wanted nonsense. I wanted the truth. A still hand on being alone. So yeah, I think you can see what I mean by producing imagery that you wouldn't particularly think of. But it doesn't have to be serious. I also picked up a book that I hated by Jeremy Clarkson for free, and wrote a poem about how communists were hot, which was funny because it twists his original meaning, and it can be quite sarcastic in that way. It's true. It's a true fact. If instead you want to try the cutout poems, you can choose another page of the newspaper, the leaflets, the junk mail, and cut out words that you like the look of, and rearrange them on the page in whatever way takes your fancy, and really experiment with it. Alternatively, you could just cut out phrases randomly and then try and find filler words that will make it make sense, but the most important thing is to have fun with it and not think about it too much, because sometimes the best pieces can come from just messing around. Whenever you're feeling uncreative or just want something to do with your hands, this can be a great way to get started. And there's nothing like scribbling over something to make you feel powerful. If you've tried this at home, let us know and share your creations with us. I hope you've enjoyed.